forgot to put on my camera and microphone. Crazy, right? Alrighty, good morning everybody. Today I decided to, instead of making a video, show you guys life and talk about my worm journey. This video is not going to be long. I started my worm journey about 5 weeks today, actually. Exactly 5 weeks today. And today I wanted to share with you what's going on in my worm bin. For those might be wondering why suddenly started worm bin. I in the past used to use bunny compost, which is known as the best cold compost. Cold and well gold, because it's really it's expensive and it's really quality. But we no longer have a bunny, so I was like, okay, how else am I gonna get my organic fertilizer? I was tired of having to go to the farm every year. I mean, going to the farm every year to get free manure, horse manure, wasn't a bad thing per se. When we did have like was it a van or whatnot, I was able to do it myself. I would do like 2 rounds and that would fill my garden up. However, we don't have a van anymore. So the last 2 years I've hired people to bring in the soil and clean up my garden. And I just don't want to do that going on to next year, because that's a lot of money with the economy and things going on. Things are getting expensive on all sides. Okay. So anyways, and worm casting itself, which is what I'm working on right now. Worm castings are also very expensive. Hello, Rayan, how are you? And then to think about the fact that you're going to get something in a store and never sure it's truly organic doesn't, to me, that doesn't make sense. I don't want to spend so much money and then, come to realize later I've been wasting my money. So I figured to myself, why not start this worm bin project and see how that goes. So 5 weeks today is when I started my worm bin project. Right here is my worm bin. I did a lot of research and read this particular book, which I will share with you guys. Give me 1 second. Let me get the book. It has really helped me. Oh, there we go. Where is the book? Where is the book? Na 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 na. Okay. Huh. Can't find the book. That's strange. Oh, there it is. One. It's my. Yeah. Alrighty. So, people, this is the book here. It's called Worms Eat My Garbage. Oh, thank you for the subscription and the like. And this book basically gives you, it's like a beginner guide on how to set up your first worm bin and how to work it over time. So based on this, I kind of decided what I wanted to do. It also shows also how to harvest it. I've not yet reached the phase of harvesting, but more so I'm in the setup phase. And the goal was to do this for about a week and then get my worms. But unfortunately, where I ordered my worms from, it's really, really hot there. So shipping over the worms from where I where I purchased it to come over here to Maryland, half of the worms are probably gonna die. So I have to wait until the weather cools off before I can get my worms. As of I think 2 days ago when I checked, the temperature over there was 100 degrees, and worms thrive better in between, I think, was it 75 degrees Fahrenheit and 65, something like that. But I have all that details in my other videos. Yeah, so I'm just waiting patiently, and as opposed to just waiting and not doing anything, what I decided to do was pre-compost, which was not my original intention. Like I said, I spent 1 week, I'll get it. But what pre-composting does is that it helps get the environment ready for the worms. You're growing sweet melon? Okay, that's awesome. I grew watermelon like maybe 3 years ago, and half of it was eaten by ants. But it was really nice and tasty. I hope your watermelon, your sweet melon is growing well. Hi, Cindy. So pretty much, pre-composting is the process of getting your worm bean into an environment that once the worm bean comes, it's ready to go, right? So worms don't eat necessarily the food scrap right immediately when you put it in. What happens is that the microbes in there, when the thing start looking at the spoils, what we consider spoiled, those are the microbes working on the food. Those microbes break down the food, right? And then the worm also comes and like does the completion and eats those broken down scraps. Does that make sense? And then when they eat it, they poop just like we do after we've digested our food, right? They poop, and those poop is what we call worm castings. Just like bunny poop becomes worm casting. Essentially the same things for worms. Can you grow a carrot if it's already grown? Yeah, I believe you can grow carrots from the head, the carrot head. I believe you can do that. But for the most part, from my experience, I've been growing carrot from the seeds, or tried growing carrots, because I grew carrot one time and they're all this tiny, and they were all from seeds. So yeah, I'm not an expert in growing carrots though. However, I've been growing peppers and tomatoes and okras. Those three things I've grown for about 3 years now. So I have more. I can say more, speak more to that. So now that I've given you kind of like the general reason why I'm pre-composting, I'm going to share with you what's going on in here. So in my pre-compost bin right now, I'm hoping that the worms are going to come in sometime in September, which is really about right around the corner, right? So my pre-compost bin here consists of what do you call this thing, beddings, and the bedding is like newspaper, cardboard, and paper, all shredded in here. Let me open it up. It also consists of worm castings that I got from the store, and that's to give it that introduce the microbes into the bedding. It consists of food scrap, and the main food scrap I've put so far is 1.5 banana peels and some cucumber peels, the back of the cucumber peels. All right, so 2 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, I put a banana peel, and it took about 2 weeks and some to break down, and now this is second week of me putting another set of banana peel. So this is week 2 since I put another set of banana peel. The peel, I did like half of a banana peel, and I separated them into 2 places. One side I cut the banana peel smaller, and the other side I left it a little bit whole. And I was going to check to see which one breaks down faster. Okay. But the sweet melon sprouted. Okay. All right. So the first thing I usually do when I open my worm bin is I'm checking to see that there are no fruit flies or anything like that, and there's no foul odor. If those things are occurring, that's not really good, because what foul odor does is it attracts, bugs and stuff, fruit flies, into your worm bin, and you don't want that. Before you know it, other things are going to be coming into your worm bin. Okay, the other two I do is smell. Trust me, there's a foul odor, there'll be smells. And I'm seeing things like little mosquitoes from here now. See that? I don't know if you guys can see. And then I open it. I don't smell anything right now, guys, and that's a good sign. And you see this thing here, this moldy thing right there. That's a good sign also that there's microbial activity going on in the worm bin. Okay, so the next thing I do is, as I'm looking around, I'm also checking for moisture level. And when you look, I'm going to pull this closer for you guys. If you look at the edge of the bin, round like so, you see some droplets of water there, and that's okay. If you see water dripping down, like drip, that's a sign that it has too much water, okay? But mine just has a little around it, so that's a good sign. I don't know if you guys can see this side here. Yeah, okay, that's a good sign that moisture level is okay. Another way to check the moisture level is to take this and squeeze. Okay, you see that there's no water dripping, but if I squeeze, there's some water. That's a good sign also. Okay, that's a good sign that the moisture level is just right. Worms thrive in a moist environment. If it's too dry, they die. If it's too wet, they drown. Okay, the DD, die or drown. You don't want any of those things to happen to your worms. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the area where I put the bananas and to see what happened with my experiment. I'm going to move closer. I'm going to try to push this down so you guys can see better. Can I tweet? Yep. Okay. It's right here. All right. Good. Maybe not so. Okay. So this is the area I put one of the bananas. So I'm going to check it now to see how the banana is doing. Okay. Has it broken down completely? We're going to find out. All right. So this is the banana here. It's not broken down completely. But you can see it's nice. I can easily rip it like so. But it's doing some work in here already. Okay. And I'm gonna check the other side where I put the banana, the other banana that I didn't. I don't think I cut that one smaller, but let me see. I'll check the other side and show you. All right. So what climate do you stay, Rayan? If you're talking about your sweet melon, what climate do you stay? Like, what region? Do you have summer all long, or you have the fall seasons? All right. So looking here, I'm looking for the banana, and I can't seem to find it. Maybe this one broke down completely already. Okay, I don't seem to see this one. So it looks like this other one has broken down completely, and this is the one I cut into smaller bits. I don't seem to find the banana anymore, so it looks like it is broken down. All right, so once this other one has broken down, what I'll do is now spread it across, to get the microbial activity all around my worm bin. And this is what I typically do when I check my worm bin. I check it once a week. It's so hot here. Okay, so that would be good for your melons. But I hear that those melon groups, they love a lot of water, so you gotta water it very frequently. Even though they like the heat, but they like to be hydrated too. Okay, so what I do with my worm bin is basically fluff it. Okay, and when I go and check the bottom to see if there's like a lot of water pulled in, because you don't want too much water pulled in at the bottom, because that's where the worms can also drown there. So I'm checking now. There isn't a lot of water. Let me move this closer so you guys can see. Right there, can you see that there's not much water pulled in? There's even actually really no water pulled in there. So that's perfect for my worm bin. Okay, flip the other side, do exactly the same thing. I'm trying not to touch the side where the banana hasn't fully broken down. And once I'm done with that, that's pretty much it. If I came to my worm bin and I found that it's too dry, what I'll do is use a spray bottle and just pour and spray in my bin to give it that moisture level I'm looking for. Again, it's like a wronged out sponge. That's the kind of moisture level you're looking for. I see leaves, but it's closed. Okay. For me, what happened with my jute leaves when I was growing it, my leaves were closed up like this, and I realized that the soil was not good for it. That's why it was closed. When I moved it over to loose soil, it started thriving. So you might want to check that. Just research what could be causing the leaves to close up. All right, so once I'm done with doing this, pretty much that's essentially what I do when I'm checking my worm bin. I'm just making sure the moisture level is good, there's no foul odor, stuff like that. You want to make sure you bury your food scrap in the bin. If you leave it out exposed, there's a chances that it's going to attract bugs that you don't want in your garden. So in that case, you want to make sure that you bury the food scrap just like I did here. Once my worms come, I'm gonna put it in the center and wrap it in paper towel. I'm just hoping that maybe I'm expecting by mid-September I'm gonna have my worms in this bin, and this bin is so ready for the worms right now. It's wonderfully pre-composted. The environment seems perfect, so we'll see. This environment here, this container, 7 totes gallon, can fit precisely half a pound of worms, which is about 500 worms. So it's a good environment, and we're gonna just see how it goes. I might end up, I don't know, if I decide to multiply this from this worm bin, one worm bin, I could have multiple worm bins. All right, so we're done looking at that now. I'm gonna close this up and put it away and leave it again for yet another week. Like I said, I check this only every week. Once the worm comes, also, you really don't want to be bothering the worms so often. So I plan to probably check maybe once a week or thereabout once the worms come. This gloves is stained right now, so I'm gonna put it away. So what I do is also I keep my gloves typically and I reuse it, but I need to get tight fitted gloves so that it's better serves me. The next thing I'm going to show you guys is where I store my beddings. Okay, but some of it is under the soil, the leaves. Can you clarify what you mean? All right, guys, I'm going to show you what my beddings look like. The materials I use for my beddings is right over here. Give me a second. Let me pull this up. It's exactly the same bag. And this is my one beddings right here. So once that one is fully pre-composted, this will be my second one bin. Or if I'm seeing that my thing is thriving, I'm getting a lot of eggs, I can decide I want to create another one bin. And this will be what I'll use. This is egg crate right here. For the egg crate, I don't shred them. It's not really easy to shred. And I use a regular office shredder that takes up 6 paper maximally. Okay. So this is my egg crate here. These are cardboard newspaper from like packages I received from Amazon. Then I have white paper from things I've shredded, and then I have newspaper. I keep it in a dry area so it doesn't start, decomposing, because hey, paper is from wood. Wood decomposes. Alrighty. So this is what I have so far, and this will make up one bin essentially. What I need to leave now. Okay, bye Ryan. Thank you for sticking with me. I hope you figure out what's going on with your melon. Do drop it in the one of my videos and let me know how your your melon is going. So guys, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions about worms, you want to see more about how I started, how to set up your worm bin, your first worm bin, I have a video about that. You want to see the week 1, like my journey so far up until week 5, you can check it in my videos. All right, no worries. I'm about to end my live too also. I wasn't going to be here for a long time. So thank you guys for hanging with me. I hope to see you in my next video or in my next live. Bye, Ryan. Bye, everyone else who has joined. I didn't see your faces or your names, but bye. I typically come live at 6 a.m. I'm supposed to try like every day, but sometimes I'm not able to come here live at 6 a.m. Eastern time. And then sometimes at between 4 and 5 Eastern time, I'm also live sometimes. So you can catch me either of those times throughout the weekday. Alrighty, I need to get my kids ready for school now. Bye.